Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Hey, listen, are you a business person? Someone that wants to get into business or have been in business? Today, I have a very great conversation with someone that's going to be encouragement. We're going to laugh some, we're going to have some fun, but we're also going to learn from someone that I've been able to see over the years of my life that is a businessman. Join this conversation with me as we dig in now. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Focus on Greatness podcast. My name is Hiram, and on this platform, we highlight ways where men can be able to experience greatness in their everyday lives. And so today is no different from any other day. We're going to be able to take the time to learn a story of a man that I have, again, been able to see from literally, I believe, almost all my life, and watch him be a successful businessman in different areas and different arenas. And I believe his story is going to help us be able to be effective. I've seen him not only be a great businessman, but I've also seen him as a father. I've seen him as a husband. So today, let's dive into this conversation. And I want y'all to show some love to the one and only. There's no one like him. I promise you. You won't find anybody else like this man nowhere else in the world. The one and only Tony Cooper. How you doing, sir?
Man, that's a heck of an introduction, man. I hope I can live up to
it. Yes, sir. No, do me a favor. For those that do not know you, that's listening and watching on the platform, introduce yourself to the people, say hi to the people, and then we'll dive into our conversation on the day.
Wonderful. Hey, first and foremost, to God be the glory. It's always giving thanks to the Father. And then from that point, you guys are hanging with Tony Cooper. There is no better place to be. And never forget who loves you, baby. And in this case, it's Jesus and Hiram, all right? Other than that, you better check with your mama because I'm not sure you might love you. Hey, but you said, give me a little bit of background on what I do.
Yes, sir.
Wow, it's been such a fun journey from where I'm at right now. I'm 60 years young, and I'm in the best shape that I've been in probably 30 years.
Wow.
And that's mental shape, physical shape, and what is it? Mental, physical, and spiritual. And so I got that triangle working for me. I got that foundation that's working great.
Yes, sir.
I couldn't start it out in business when I was like 13 years old. I was in middle school, and I was selling. I think I told you this in my little bio.
Mm-hmm.
I had a trench coat, and I would sell candy bars to the kids in school. And Hiram, I cut little slats in my jacket, and they knew me. Oh, here comes the candy man. Here comes the candy man. and I made almost $50 a day, man, off candy.
Wow.
And so there was a couple of things that happened. There was the good feeling of, man, I'm making some money at this. Mm-hmm. And then there was a notoriety. And then there was an expectation that I got from people. They said, hey, man, you got what I love. I love Snickers. And that was the bar, you know. And so for those guys, I always knew if I had some Snickers on me, there was money coming, you know. So in business, you know, you got people, processes, and product. And I grew into a people person because I was a very shy guy. People wouldn't believe that, man. But I was a shy, introverted guy.
Wow. Yeah, I wouldn't believe that at all.
Exactly. and to this day, man, I would rather get on my motorcycle and ride and just hear the road and the engine and get my peace there. But because of what I've done in my life as far as business is concerned, and then the time that I spent in the military, you know, you have to come out of yourself and be who God has you to be, and really be what your dream is, what your passion is. And so it's coming out of that shell. It's kind of like the butterfly.
Yeah.
It's a caterpillar. And then it metamorphoses. Is that the word? Is it metamorph? What's the word, man? How do you say the word?
No, I think you're good.
No. I'm putting it on you, man. Give me the word.
It morphs. We'll use that. It morphs into.
So that was the deal, man. So I was the guy that they could count on to have the Snickers, the Baby Ruth, whatever case it might be. I was that guy. And so
Wow.
it gave me a foundation, man, of the warm fuzzy, meeting the need, and then some notoriety also. And so that's my home base where I started from. And then from there, man, it's all been a wonderful journey. So you got the floor to go ahead and pose me the question.
Well, the question I have is, even starting from a young age, was it someone in your life that you saw was that type of business person, or
No, not that I could pin on at that age in my life. As I grew up, I found mentors, and that those were very, very important. That's why, in the process of what I do now, what I did as a photographer, I try to mentor people. When I was in the military, I believe I was a good soldier and a good leader, and so I did. But at 13, man, I had some candy, and it might have been Halloween candy. If I can remember right, it was like Halloween candy, man. And people saying, "You got some candy?" Bam! And I turned that Halloween run into an organization that at the end of the year, man, I had thousands of dollars. And that was pretty cool for a 13-year-old kid.
Wow, no, that is a whole lot of money for a 13-year-old.
It was.
Now, you were born and raised where?
Oh, I was born in Fort Campbell, Kentucky. My dad was a soldier in the military, and so we did that thing. But the better part of my life, my formative years, I was in Newport News, Virginia. Shout out Newport News, Denby Patriots, whoop whoop, that type of deal. And so Newport News, Virginia, is where I call home.
Okay. So you were basically raised in Newport News in VA, and then you went into the military.
Well, I went to college first, man.
Okay. You went from so you went into college. Where did you go to college at?
I went to what is it? I'm getting ready to say Central Texas University, but it was Thomas Nelson Community College. And I went to college, man, because that's what everybody had to go to college. And if you didn't go to college, you were getting out the house. And I didn't know how to get out the house. So all I know was college was right down the road. I'm in the house.
Right.
And so I went to college. I scheduled all my classes, like, wow, you get to schedule your own classes. And so I scheduled them all after 11 o'clock. But it was a community college. So after 11 o'clock, with all the moms, people's moms were going to college. And I could see all the honeys. They were leaving at 11 o'clock. You would go through the common area or the lunchroom or whatever. And I'm like, wow, the honeys are leaving and the moms are coming. I'm doing something wrong here. And so I farted around in college, man. And I was always one. I could be a straight A student, but it was the application, and I was getting by on B's and C's, because God gifted me to be pretty smart, but you got to learn how to apply yourself to your craft, and I'll talk about that later. And so I farted around in college, and my dad said, "Hey, dude, you're out of here." And I was walking by the TV, and it said, "Be all that you can be." I've always wanted to sing that on the radio. I want to let you know. And it said, "Be all you can be." And I said, and then it said, "See the world." That was it. And my dad was saying, "You're going to get out of here and get into the world." And I said, okay, see the world, get into the world. I went down to the recruiter, and the recruiter, I got to tell the story. The recruiter said, "Hey, man, your scores are good enough. You can do anything you want." And he says, you want to be a mechanic?" And I said, "No, man, I don't like getting my hands dirty. I don't want to be a mechanic. What kind of crazy mess is that?" He says, "You can drive a tank." I said, "No, man. Is there air conditioner in the tank?" He said, "No, they don't have air conditioner in the tank. They got this system that blows air on you, but there's no AC." And I said, "Wow, no AC, get my hands dirty." I said, "What else you got?" And he said, "Well, you can be an air traffic controller." And I said, "Well, what's an air traffic controller?" He says, and then I said, "Do they have air conditioning?" And he said, "Yeah, they got air conditioning." I said, and then he showed me the guys on the tower in the radar room. I said, "Okay, they got air conditioning. I'm going to do that." And so for 38 years, I've been an air traffic controller, retired 2 years ago. But But that's the
Wow.
journey of my military career. I didn't want
Mm.
to get my nails dirty, and I had to be around some air conditioning. And then when I got in the Army, man, for my first 6 years, I never saw air conditioning. I was in the field all the time. And I still remember that recruiter's name, and I'm looking for him.
He said he set me up.
He set me up, man. He set me up.
Yes, sir. Now, let me ask this. While you were in the military, were you still doing some form of business while in the military?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
When I started taking pictures probably in the 10th grade.
Mm,
And that shyness thing that I had, when I had my camera, it was like I was Superman. People said,
mm,
"Wow, can you take my picture? Can you take my picture?" And then I said, "You know my name?" I was looking at people that used to look right through me. And
right.
then the fact that I had a camera, they began to say, "Okay, yeah, take my picture." And the girls would say, "Hey, Tony, can you take my picture?" And I'm thinking, "Carolyn, you know my name? Marilyn, you know my name? Whoa, I am here." And so,
Right.
so I began to formulate a smooth tongue.
Mm,
Um, and then they said, "Take my picture." And somebody had to pay for the film. And
right.
so it just matriculated from that to me taking senior pictures even when I was a senior in high school. Um,
Wow.
and so I had my first business card, and it was my initials, AWC. I still got that card today. And
Mm,
the tagline was "Your initial choice." Um, and again, no mentor yet, no mentor yet, just carving a path that was
mm.
in me. When I was 8 years old, we used to take Polaroid pictures, and I was always a guy with the camera in the house taking pictures. So it was a natural transition for me. Um,
Mm.
I probably had a camera in my hand since I was 15 years old, if not before that. Wonderful story. I don't know if we have time for how I
Yeah, we
got the
do. We
camera,
good.
but
Yeah, we
it's
good.
not business oriented. So can I keep it short for you?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. And so I'm working at Kmart. I'm 16 years old working at Kmart. And there's a camera that's sitting in the case. It was a Minolta 201 35 millimeter camera. And I said, "That's the camera I want, man." I studied that camera. That was the one I wanted. And
Mm,
my sister lived in Washington State. I told nobody that I wanted that camera. I told nobody. And it was like $200 for that camera. And that was huge back then.
right.
Um,
Yeah.
and so I did well in school. I made the AB honor roll. And my sister sent me that camera. And I don't know, she knew I like photography, but
Hmm.
she didn't know the camera. She
Hmm.
sent me that exact camera right there.
Wow.
Um, to this day, she has my heart because
Mm.
she just heard from God, and God heard me say and pray that I wanted that camera.
So far, though, I think that this is a great insight because one of the things that just listening to your storyline
Yeah.
that's really that's giving me some I don't even want to say chills, but really is touching me is one, I never knew your story behind you as a photographer.
Yeah.
And so to be able to hear that really the thing that gave you the strength or the boldness was really, it was almost like your balancing piece. It was the thing that kind of gave you really the thing that you wanted.
Yeah.
And but now it has grown. It had grown over the time. It grew into something where now it was impacting people. I didn't know that you took your own graduation
I did.
senior pictures.
Hey, wait, I
Um,
took my own wedding pictures.
man.
Yeah. They had my wife, I got married in Georgia to my wife,
Mhm.
Brenda, and the love of my life. Let me put it, let's get some points out of this, okay? Uh, and Hiram, we got married in Georgia, small town in Georgia.
Mhm.
And the photographer, I don't know who he was, man, but the guy was not going to jack my wedding up, okay? And so I brought my own camera. Every
Mhm.
picture, the camera that my sister bought me, that was taken that I wasn't in, I took the photograph,
Mm.
and the rest of them I staged, man. And after that, the guy called me up. He says, "Man, I've never had anybody take their own pictures, but you taught me a lot." And that
Mm.
was, I don't know if I don't want to be cocky, but that
Hmm.
dude was jacked up. And
Hmm.
and so this was my wife that I was going to marry, and
Yeah.
I couldn't have her say anything else about it. So that's the story
Yeah.
behind that.
Yes, sir. No, but again, I love it because
Come on.
you found, I think it's something that's unique, and even to fathers or parents that's listening, I think that this is a key. And I'm gonna really even dive into this more, even with my boys, in this aspect of that. Really, it was something that you already were genuinely loving to do, even at a younger age.
Roger that.
It was something that you genuinely love to do that became now a passion for you. In your passion, in this passion, then became your business.
Yeah,
And so I think that that's something that even as a businessman or business people that we can be able to look at and see what is something that you naturally do. What is
yeah,
something that you naturally love that then you can be able to move and convert it into a business form. And so I do want to ask this, even though you were naturally doing it, I think you said starting from the age of 10, and you continue to do it in reference to just taking pictures in general, not per
yeah.
se the
14,
business
15.
aspect. When you did get a mentor, how did that change the dynamic of your business aspect when it came to photography?
It catapulted. Uh,
Mm.
and let me give you, when I was good, giving God the glory. I was good at what I did as far as photography. And I'm
Mhm.
talking, I'm 21 years old, and I'm thinking I'm the man. Okay. I got a
Right.
camera. I could take pictures. I had, as a matter of fact, when I was 17 years old, that's the first mentor I had. It was a captain in the Army. And we used to go down to the photo lab in Fort Eustis, Virginia,
Mhm.
and develop our pictures, black and white, the solutions. I can't remember what they were, and stuff like that. But he was there, and he would evaluate some of my pictures. And this
Mhm.
guy was good, and he says, "I don't want to tell you this, but you have skills," because he said that, because this helps me, man. Humility goes the humility, man. I want to make sure I say it right, because I thought I was the man.
Mhm.
I'm 17 years old, and I'm telling myself I'm the man. You
Mhm. Mhm.
don't, I got no experience,
Right.
except for what I
Yeah.
did. And he says, I want to tell you, you're good, but you got to go to work at this.
Mm.
And when he said that, man, it was like, I got to go to work at this, because he was great. And
Mm.
then they had another photographer in that same lab. His name was Sharif. And
Mm.
Sharif, you could look at some of the old Jet magazine centerfolds, and he shot for Playboy. He shot for a lot of,
Wow.
look, I'm not going to say quality magazines, but he shot for a lot of McCall's. He shot for major publications,
Mm.
and he was on Fort Eustis and in the photo lab, and he was just helping people out and stuff like that. But that's
Mm.
where he would develop some of his stuff. He was a retired guy,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
he took me underneath his wing along with the captain. I can't remember that guy's name. And that was the difference, man. When you had a mentor, somebody you could look up to, and somebody who believed in you, and somebody that didn't blow smoke up your butt and let you
Mhm.
think you're the man when you're only 17 years old, 18 years
Right.
old. You're not the man. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had I graduated from that, joined the military. I was in Korea, and I got an opportunity to shoot with a Korean advertising agency. And the
Mm.
fact that I could speak Hangul pretty fluently at the time uh, was key to opening some doors there, because I was able, as a black man in Korea, to shoot for a major publication and advertising agency in Korea. I came back, got stationed at Fort Eustis, correction, Fort Hood, Texas,
Mhm.
and I go down to Bob DeBolt's studio. Bob DeBolt is a master photographer. He has been in this community, died years ago, but
Wow.
his name is on the bottom of some pictures here uh, at the history of Killeen in Central Texas. Bob
Mm.
DeBolt is the guy. He sat me down in a corner, and and people didn't even know I was in the studio.
Mm.
Every day I was in there, I learned something new. I mean, from just little teeny things, from hand positions to lighting to structure to conversation
Hmm.
to film speeds to those three guys were monumental in my life as a photographer. And so this real quick, Bob tells me, I go to Bob, I got my little portfolio thing, hey, look at me, I'm a great photographer.
Right.
Those other guys told me you need to be humble. And so maybe I was a little thick in the head and didn't get the whole thing about humility. So
Yeah.
so I go to Bob and I want to show him my pictures. Everybody says you're the best. I want to show you my pictures.
Hmm.
Old man, okay?
Hmm.
And now I'm the old man, but I'm thinking, old man, I'm going to show you my pictures. Oh yeah, your stuff is good, but I'm going to show you my stuff.
Yeah.
His wife, he doesn't want to see you. And I said, what? He doesn't want to see me?
Mm.
Uh, 3 times he turned me down. I don't want to see that guy. I don't want to, because he could hear me in the background coming into his studio
Hmm.
wanting to see him. And I don't think I was loud and boisterous because my mother told me, don't pat yourself on the back.
Hmm.
So there's
Hmm.
there's a lot of contradictions going on here. I'm trying to pat myself on the back and show this man how great I am. And I hear my
Right.
mom say, don't pat yourself on the back. Let other people do it. Okay.
Hmm.
And so the fourth time Bob lets me in. Okay. He says, dude, if anything, you are tenacious. Okay. Uh,
Hmm.
and I was not going to be denied. The third time I got it.
Hmm.
Go in there with a different attitude. Go in there with humility. It all began to kind of work itself through. And every day, 6 months, I
Hmm.
sat in his studio every single day I got off of work. And
Hmm.
and the days that he wasn't scheduled to shoot anything, his wife taught me about business. And there's two things that go there that's worth talking about later on. Um, but without those three men in my life, God's going to give you somebody else, but
Yeah.
he gave me the right three for me.
Well, so this is the thing that I want even the listeners to be able to hear is one, the importance of having a mentor,
Yeah.
having someone to be able to guide you,
Yeah.
having someone to be able to not just pour into you, but to be able to show you, okay, this is a better way of being able to do this.
Yeah.
Or, maybe you can tweak this, or maybe you can do this better,
Yeah.
or let me show you some skill sets.
Yeah.
But also the other piece that I think is great that you're bringing out is being humbled enough,
Yeah,
no
man.
matter how great, no matter how skillful you think you might be, being humble enough to be able to say, I can learn to do better.
Yes, sir.
And so I want us to be able to hear this. Surely we were talking about business because I believe some of the greatest business. I listened to an interview that I believe TD Jakes had this platform that he had, and he had I would say one of the greatest producers of our time, Timberland, on his platform, and he was asking Timberland, how were you able to be from generation to generation to generation, and you are still as popular as you are? And one of the things that he said is I always keep asking and learning. Like I always keep
Yes.
asking questions.
Yes.
I always keep learning,
Yes.
and I listen to the people.
Yeah.
And so he takes that insight and continues to stay humble, no matter how successful we think he would be. He
Yeah.
continued to stay humbled, and that has helped him to catapult him as a businessman and as a producer.
That's for me. That's key.
Mhm.
There's learning. Learning is the key to all our growth.
Mhm.
When we stop learning, we stop growing.
Yeah.
And so for me, I had a passion for it. And so for people out there who's looking for something to do and they're saying, I like this. I go to schools and I talk on career days and things along that line. And
Mhm.
I was in there a few years ago. Might have been fourth graders. Okay, so you're a man. You're coming up. They had the police guy ahead of me. They had the fire guy and some other guy. Let me say a lawyer.
Mhm.
And so they told what they did. But what they did, what God gave to me that day was not so much tell what you do, Show them what they can do. And
Mm.
so what I say, as I say that, I say, when you look around, look differently at things. What I posed to the kids were, in building a home, how many different jobs are there that go into building a home? And they were
Mm.
like, that we started out real slow. And
Mhm.
so we started with the framer, okay, and then the plumber, and then
Mhm.
with the electrician, the roofer. But then we got deeper because we can see the surface thing on the home, but
Yeah.
then you go to the architect, and then you go to the people who made the trees, the agriculturalists,
Yeah.
and so all the kids. There was an agricultural kid in there, and then there was a kid who loved planting, doing plants and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
he didn't know that his plants could turn into a tree that could turn into a home.
Wow.
And so it what I was a when we finished on that chalkboard, we didn't have enough chalkboard for all the jobs. The guys who make the roads for the trucks to drive to the
Mm.
houses and drive the trucks from.
Wow.
So what I say to people is, look at things differently. Don't look at the surface of things. If you can, it's like this. It's like when you buy that Lamborghini. No, I'm not gonna say Lamborghini. When you buy the red Tesla, not even a
Mhm.
Tesla. Okay, when you buy the Dodge Ram 1500 white pickup truck, you don't see a lot of them on the road until you pay your money. And
Yeah.
then when you pay your money, there's like a million of them on the road. You
Yep.
didn't see it until it was part of you.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
once it was part of you, like, hey, everybody got one of those trucks.
Yep.
Nothing special. I don't know if that ties together, but
No, it does. I
yeah,
think it does.
look at things differently, man. If
Yeah.
you could see differently, you can see all the potential that might be within you. If
Yeah.
we could have that mentor to help us see differently. And so
Yeah.
that was key. That was
Yes,
key.
sir. Now, how long? Because I know we in reference to your time frame, so I don't want to keep you too long. But
No,
how
no, no,
long
no.
did
This is
you
all good. It's
do?
all good. It's all
How
good.
long did you do the photography business?
Ever since I would ever since as a business, ever since I was 16 years old. I made
Okay.
my business cards, 15, 16, something like that. And I
Hmm.
was making money a month later. But it didn't become a business until there were expenses involved with it.
Hmm.
And then it was a hobby.
Yeah.
So as a business and paying taxes and registered ever since 1984. Hiram,
Wow.
how old were you in 1984?
I was literally 1980, depending on when in 1984,
Yeah.
I was still a baby. I was
Okay.
born in
And so
1983.
I registered my business so I could do your pictures, and that's why I did it, because I knew you would be here.
Yes, sir. And
Yeah. All
just
right.
for the sake of for the audience, he has taken several pictures
Yeah. Yeah.
of moments in my life, and
Yeah. Yeah.
so that's great. One of the reasons why I asked that is because moving from when you started your business even till today,
Yeah.
even till today, one has proven to me and shown to me just the power of you as a businessman. But I think also the power of you as a businessman is your transition from being a photographer to transitioning it into the type of business that you're doing now. How did you transition? How was the transition
Okay.
from photography to what you do now?
Okay. The transition was really kind of forced upon me.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
uh, the evolution of business is it's always changing. I tell you, Hiram, business 5 years ago was not is nowhere near business today.
Mm.
Again, people, process, and product. They're all the fundamentals of any type of business. Uh, but even in the marketing today, you've got your social media stuff out there. And 5 years ago, social media was like, okay, I'll put a picture up, I'll do
Right.
this,
Yeah.
we'll Facebook this thing. But that
Yeah.
social media stuff is so huge now that there's this rapper out there, and I don't want to give this guy any credit for, because his music is a little
Yes, sir.
stank. It's a little stank for me. But he says there's different levels to this stuff out here.
Yeah.
And you got to find out what level you want to come in at and what
Mm.
level you want to grow to. But first, you got to kind of find out what level you are, where you're
Yeah.
at, and when you understand where you're coming in at, and then where you want to go to, that's how you will. That's what will dictate how much marketing you're going to do and how much advertising. If you want to make some chump change, you can go out there and let me back up. That's not chump change.
Hmm.
Anytime you're out there and you're putting your business model together, the money you spend, if you have a recollection and an understanding of money and what it can do and what you might do for it, it's not chump change. So I take that back. I'm sorry, guys and girls. Um, you asked me a question about what the transition was. And
Hmm.
transition, the iPhone, all these phones, they take better pictures than we can take. Uh,
Mm.
and they capture the moment. Photography at its core, first thing I tell everybody this who I teach about photography.
Hmm.
The first words that we know in the Bible, God said, let there be light.
Yeah.
And photography is nothing but the study of light. And so for any
Mm.
photographer out there, anybody who's doing something, if you don't understand light, you have no clue about photography. You might be able to pose people well. You might get lucky. I call it a lucky light. But
Hmm.
until you know light, you know nothing. So God said, let there be light. Now we study light as photographers. But the iPhone and the
Wow.
Samsungs and the Google phones,
Hmm.
people have a million pictures. And so the market just dissipated, kind of like the Polaroid picture. It just went
Hmm.
away.
Yeah.
Uh, and Kodak went away. The manufacturer of the first digital camera is no longer here today. Sears is no longer here today. And
Yeah.
so when you find out what level you're at, then you kind of get dictated to on what type of business you're going to do. And so one, as people took more pictures of themselves and had all those beautiful moments that I could not even recreate for them.
Yeah.
Couldn't fake
Yeah.
the joy that they had in those photographs. You gotta come get a picture and you gotta get all dressed up, or
Yeah.
that was back in the day. And then your kids are mad at you. You're mad at your mom. You don't want to wear that. Your hair's not right. There were so
Right.
many things, and so I really had to distract people with humor and
Mm.
distract them with and not so much distract them, but take away all the anxiety that they're going through and
Mhm.
meet them at a place that they feel comfortable with. And God blessed me with that ability. Uh,
Yeah.
but I was telling my wife, I said, hey, photography's going. I'm going to retire from air traffic control in a few years, and we want to travel. We got to hang out with Mr. Cooper Channel, and
Mhm.
so
Yes, sir. Yes,
if
sir.
we can travel, you're hanging with Mr. Cooper. You guys go out and check me out. It's on YouTube. But
Yes, please do.
and we have a blast. And
Mhm.
so uh, since she was the manager of our studio, she didn't have a job. And I
Mhm.
said, if you're going to get a job, you got a job where we can go away for 2 months straight. That you can get that time off, and you can't. I'm going to send you postcards
Right.
because I'm going. I'm going. You can come if you want to, but I'm going. And I don't say that braggadociously. I say that
Yes,
to
sir.
move her. And
Mhm.
so a buddy of mine said, hey, man, my girl here in Louisiana, she does shave ice, man. And this is the margins in shave ice. And the
Mm.
margins were like the candy in my coat pocket, in my trench coat
Wow.
in the 8th grade.
Wow.
And so it's huge. There's no better margins. Popcorn, because you used to do popcorn at the church, right? Did
Mhm.
you ever
Mhm.
prepare popcorn? The
Yeah.
margins on popcorn are unreal, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm,
People
I'm,
love
I'm
popcorn.
I'm a little bit pumped up because I'm talking about making money. And so, and so, and I used to look at you guys and I said, look at that, man, $1 a bag of pop, that little teeny bag. Boom, boom, boom. You go to the movie theater. What do you smell? You smell popcorn. You
Yep.
paid $8 for a bag of a box of popcorn. Man.
Mhm.
So I looked at the margins on shave ice. Margins on popcorn, cotton candy, shave ice, and hot dogs are huge. And
Mm.
so I told my wife, this is what we're going to do. She said, what are you talking about? This is what we're going to do. We don't know nothing about that. I said, hey, it's all right there. Let's figure it out. It's just shave ice, boo. It's ice. Put it on the thing. And people give you money. And everybody leaves happy. Hiram, they leave happy. I said,
Wow.
what's that? I've been an air traffic controller for 38 years. And, everybody ain't leaving happy.
Mm.
Long story short, that's the matriculation from photography to what we do now. And
Mhm.
now our goal is to put 12 trucks on the road and become the ice cream man. The ice cream man
Mm.
was him and the milkman were the first mobile Uber drivers. If you look
Yeah.
at it,
Yeah.
someone through the neighborhood, and you chased them down and you gave them money, and so now, man, that's the best job I've ever had, and I've always had great jobs. And so,
Wow.
so
Wow.
we're putting 12 trucks on the road, and we're coming to a neighborhood near you. We're coming down your street. We're coming in your neighborhood. That's what Bishop used to say.
Yes, sir. Well, for
Okay, did
those
I answer
that
that
are,
question?
yes, you did. You did.
Okay.
So those that are listening and those that are watching, make sure that you're following him. Again, go to his social media outlets. Go subscribe also
Yeah.
to
Hang on the street.
um, yes, hanging out with Mr. Cooper, and I promise you, you would enjoy it. And for those that have had the opportunity to be able to have a picture taken by him,
Bless the Lord.
for any of those, you is probably one of the most easiest things to do. You
Thank you,
and I
sir.
can say you make it easy and stress free.
Thank you, sir. Thank
I had the honor of having you take our pictures for me and my wife's wedding,
Yes, sir.
and it was easy in a stress
Only
filled
because she was
moment. And
beautiful. Hiram,
yeah.
she was so beautiful. And you were like, hey man, this marriage stuff, I hope it gets good, man. But 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 thank you.
Yes,
You
sir.
honor me.
You make
I
it
give you thanks for that.
you
Appreciate
make it look easy. And this is really why, one of the reasons why I wanted to be able to have this conversation with you, is because I know when I think about, in reference to, for example, me and my boys, we have this thing where when we go out to like fast food restaurants or whatever, we have this thing where I'm trying to teach them about customer service.
it. Right.
So we'll go to one place and, customer service might be, you know, but then we'll go to another place and you will have an excellent person at the window or a person
Yeah.
that's serving you,
Yeah.
and you can tell the difference in the customer service.
Yeah.
But when I was thinking in my mind of the different moments and different times that I've had, and I can't recall one moment where I didn't have a good
Yes, sir.
experience.
Yes, sir.
And I know, as a businessman, customer service
That's
is
it.
the toppest thing on it all.
It is.
So,
You know that there's all the pieces come together, and
mhm,
you can have great customer service and a bad product, and
right.
you're out of business. And so you got to find that balance and that
Yeah.
place, and you always have to say to yourself, this is what I say to myself. I try not to speak for anybody else. To myself, I say, I want to serve this person like I want to be served.
Mm,
I want to I want to treat this person like I want to be treated, you know, and that's the thing I think you got to do in business if you're dealing with people.
yeah.
Some people are, their business does not deal one on one with people.
Mhm,
But then there's the processes that they have to go through. But anytime it's people, how do I want to be served?
yeah.
What energy man, when we go out hiring, we're energetic, man, because energy brings back energy. If it's
Mhm,
negative energy, it brings back negative energy. If
yeah.
it's just average energy, the experience is not there. And so
Mhm,
when we're out doing ice cream, it is not the ice cream, it is the experience. And
yeah.
so some parents, they come out, man, thank you for coming to the neighborhood because I get to share this experience with my child. And so
Mm,
I see all
wow.
that. People thank me for coming out to their neighborhood because it is something that reflected well in their life that they
Mm,
could go back to and share. And now there's a bond, man. When you can form a bond in any way, shape, form, or fashion, like we did in photography,
mhm,
uh, and be genuine. And my
yeah.
employees, I say, be genuine, don't be fake, because
Yeah.
you know you know fake,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. You do for sure
Yeah,
know
you
that.
don't even have to pay attention, and it's there. So be genuine
Yeah.
and uh, and get yourself some Caribbean flavor ice. Next question, man.
Well, I want to ask this, and this is a question I think is helpful for the audience and for those that are listening. Is there a foundation or a basic thing, I would say, that you saw from your photography business, even to what you're doing now with the Caribbean Ice, that you can say, okay, this is something as a businessman, this is what I have to do?
Yeah. Several things. One of them is uh, everybody talks about a business plan. Make a business plan, write it down.
Okay.
Scriptures give us clarity as far as writing it down. Write it so it's clear. Make it clear.
Okay.
And the clarity is not for anybody else. It ain't for the banker. It ain't for anybody else. It's for you. Because when
Mm.
you can look back at it and say, yeah, this works. These numbers actually work. I can attain that. It's kind of like a script.
Mm.
Okay, let me follow the script, and this ought to be the result that I get back from the script. And so the business plan was key. Understanding business, always seeking out somebody who's doing what you're doing or doing something you would like to do, um, that you can share with, man.
Yeah.
Um, there's some smart guys and girls out there, and there's some regular people with great ideas. And
Mm.
anytime you can, and then if you are around people who are negative Nancy's or downer Tommy Downers or whatever it is,
Hmm.
uh, get away from them, man.
Yeah.
Get away.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, and then customer service, and then finances. I got to tell you this: uh, get an accountant. Uh, get an accountant. Unless you're an accountant, get an
Hmm.
accountant. If you're an
Yeah.
accountant, get an accountant. Um, because I'm a photographer.
Right.
I sell experience with ice cream and Caribbean flavor ice. I need somebody to manage the books.
Yeah.
And if your accountant is smart and on your team, they will teach you how to make your money make more money. They'll
Yeah.
teach you things. And that's the goal in business. Even nonprofits say, oh, I'm a nonprofit. No, nonprofits make profits.
Yeah.
If you're a nonprofit, you're not making a profit, you're out of business. And likewise, you're throwing your own money in there. And
Hmm.
so people, uh, knowing your product and always striving to do better, knowing how you want to serve people, or how to get your product to the market is key. From photography to this thing right here,
Yeah.
it's all key. And don't be afraid to get help. And don't do the things you don't do good. Don't keep doing them. Get somebody else who does it good,
Okay.
uh, or get good at it. But then you got to wear the hat of an accountant, a hat of a marketing guy, a hat of the
Mhm.
sales guy. It's
Right.
a lot of hats, and then you're putting the wrong hat on at the wrong time. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
you know, what Kobe Bryant
Yeah.
say, ain't no I in team. Uh,
Yes,
you
sir.
just give me the ball.
Yeah.
Okay. That works for Kobe Bryant, that works for LeBron
Yeah.
and Durant and them. But the reality is they're on a team. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
if it's you and your dog, you're on a team. So those things are they are on the same parallel today, yesterday, and probably will be tomorrow.
Okay. Yes, sir. Well, I have two things that I want to ask.
Go ahead, man.
One major thing, and I think this is going to be great. If you could now speak to the 15-year-old Anthony Cooper, what would you say to him?
Be humble. Be humble.
Yeah.
Uh, be hungry. Be happy. All these things that start with an H. Be
Yeah.
humble. Be happy. Uh, be hungry. Give me another H word, man. Uh,
Be healthy.
be without a doubt. Without.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
hey, hey. That's really the key, man. The key is if you're not healthy, you don't get to do any of this.
Yeah.
And so I would say that Tony Cooper, 15-year-old kid, shy guy. I would tell him, if you can stay the course,
Mm.
if you don't faint, if you separate yourself from the also rans, if you step up when you got to step up, it's going to be just like the dreams you had.
Mm.
And
Mm.
it's
Mm.
been just like the dream. Man, I'm still dreaming, Hiram. I'm still
Yes,
dreaming.
sir.
It's
Yes, sir.
beautiful. Next one. You said you had two things. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Well, this is a question that I ask anybody that I interview, and I think is a very good question. Is what's greatness to you? What
Ah,
would you
oh,
define greatness to be?
greatness. Uh, greatness is wow. That's beautiful. Let me see it in my head.
Yes, sir. You're
Uh,
good. You're good.
greatness. Greatness is the response
Mm,
from what you do.
mm,
It's not telling. When I was 17, 18, 19, 20, I was telling myself how great I was.
yeah.
My mom told me when I was 15, she said, Tony, don't pat yourself on the back. Let others do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, and so greatness is the
Mm,
response that, to me, it's the response that I get uh, when my product is there
mhm,
and it has exceeded even my expectation.
mm.
And,
Yes,
and
sir.
that's but let me say this. That's why we say God is great, man,
Yeah.
because He exceeds our expectations. He says, "My ways are higher than your ways," and I'm not going to get all Christian on you for a minute, but I love the Lord, uh,
Yes, sir.
and,
Yes,
and,
sir.
and without a doubt, it is God in me
Mhm,
that I get to do this with the joy that I have, uh, and with the zeal that I have.
mhm.
But but we say God is great
Yeah.
because because we'll never attain greatness. We'll never
Mhm,
attain greatness.
mhm,
Greatness
mhm,
is even out of the reach of all those who we said are great,
mhm.
because there is always one greater.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
so
sir.
the humility is greatness. When you try this Caribbean ice, Hiram, you and your wife, and you say, Cooper, you go like, Bishop, Cooper, Cooper. Uh, when you try that Caribbean ice, and I'm going to say, thank you, I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Then I'm in the ballpark, but you never get there. You never
Yes,
get
sir.
there. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir. No, you did good. You did good. Again, I'm thankful that you took out the time, because I know you are a working man. You're a
Yes,
busy man
sir. Yes,
always.
sir.
And so I'm thankful that you took out the time to be able to have this conversation with me. Is there anything else that you would love to be able to say to everyone that's listening before we go?
Yeah. I would. I would. I had to get a napkin because I might tear up.
Yes, sir.
Um, you know, find a. My mother was key to my
Mm,
success. Key, key. I
mm,
said I was a shy guy, and I used to get teased. These ears on my head right here, they were this size when I was a little kid. So it was brutal, Hiram. It was brutal.
mm.
But my mother said,
Wow.
I love those ears just the way they are. And so speak kind words to people. You never know when you're going to depart this place, and you
Mm,
never know who you're talking to or what they're going through. Be
yeah.
kind.
Yeah.
Uh, don't ever build yourself up to the place or the point that you really think you're great and you're the man.
Mm,
Uh, enjoy the journey. Uh, look back often and help someone. Don't my wife says, you always tell people so much, about what we do. I
mhm,
said, you know what? You're going to line up people right beside us, but we're going to smoke them because
mm.
we bring that thing.
Yes,
But
sir.
they got something in them that people shared with me. And if it wasn't for those, my mom, I love my dad. My dad, if it wasn't for uh, Sharif, uh, uh, Bob DeBolt, and people who poured into me,
Mhm.
uh, I, you wouldn't be asking me to be here, man.
Yes, sir.
And so humility and be grateful. Man, that's it. I don't want to get crazy, man. But my
Yes,
mom,
sir.
if my mom's watching, Mom, I love you. I'm always gonna love you. Do a little heart thing, Mom. Uh, you are so awesome to me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was it, man. That
Yes,
was
sir.
it.
No, thank you for sharing that,
Yeah.
because I think it is important for us to recognize those that have helped us
Yeah.
and that has poured into us. I
And
think
and pour back
sometimes,
and pour
yeah,
back and
I
pour
think
back.
sometimes we miss those things, and we
Yeah.
think sometimes that we got to do it and always pushing to do it ourselves. But it's
Yeah.
important to pour into people. It's important to
That's
take
right.
the time to pour into
That's
somebody
right.
else. And so,
That's
thank
that's
you for allowing us to hear that, because it helps us as we continue to go forward in our journey. So thank you again, sir, for coming on and taking
one
out
team, one
the
fight.
time. And thank you all for listening and being a part of this conversation. As always, remember to continue these conversations with us every first and third Monday at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Love you all, and I'll see you right here next time on the Focus on Greatness podcast.
Caribbean
So
flavor ice is better than ice cream, bro.
make sure you hit the description and follow
Hit it,
him
hit it,
so
hit
you
it.
can
Yes,
get some
please.
of this Caribbean ice. I promise you, it's the
One team,
best thing you've ever tasted.
without a
Love you
doubt.
all.
Thank you, man.
Bye
Hey,
bye.
one love. God bless you, man.